All righty, we are good to go. We're live. Uh, Welcome back, Book Dragons, to another episode of Chaz and Friends. I'm Chaz, of course, and I'm joined by my good friend Julian here. His channel is Between the Lines, and I've been watching him pretty much since the beginning and absolutely love his stuff. So, Julian, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your channel?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Julian and I run a booktube channel called Between the Lines, which I started last year, kind of at the height of being super bored during the pandemic and wanting a creative outlet for something to do. So I've been making book related content based on a lot of book hauls I was doing during the pandemic and stuff, and then sort of getting into more review content and stuff like that. And I've been taking a bit of a break for the last couple of months, as life has been super busy with taking on another job and trying to kind of find my focus on what I want to do with the channel. But yeah, like you're saying, you've been watching everything I've done since right at the beginning. You've been so supportive. And every video I put out and every video you put out, I know yours is going to be great. And when I upload something, I know you're going to watch it and, ask me something insightful or post something that's, it shows that you actually watch people's stuff and support them. And it's not just a like and you disappear, it's something, and you're someone I've always been kind of relying on to be part of the limited fan base that there is in starting a new booktube channel.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's hard to get that fan base going, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, I'm a proud supporter of your channel. I'm glad to be there when you upload content, and whenever you come back, I'll be there. So
Yeah, for
well, I'm
sure. It'll
still
be
there,
soon.
but
Yeah.
when you come back, I'll be right there ready to watch. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
you put out some great videos, and anybody who's watching today, I highly recommend subscribing to Julian's channel. He may be taking a short break, but he'll be back. So
Mm-hmm.
watch his backlog of videos and be ready for the next one. So
Yep. Definitely this
uh,
summer. I'm going on vacation in a couple of days, but once I'm back, I'll
ooh,
start refocusing on
that's so
booking for
cool.
sure. Yeah.
Any big plans for a vacation, or is it more of a staycation? Or
No, we're going to Europe, me and my girlfriend actually. So
oh,
yeah,
that's
a big trip.
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
been
that's
pretty
huge.
busy at home, kind of working two jobs and stuff. And this is the one
Mhm.
time we get to go and do stuff. So yeah, we're going to Europe for 2 weeks, and
Nice.
really looking forward to it. Yeah.
That's cool.
Mhm.
Ursi's here. Hello. How
Oh
are
hey.
you? Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Are you going to hit a bunch of different spots or one place in particular?
No, just two. So we're
Yeah.
going to the UK for about a week, kind
Nice.
of to do more of the sightseeing stuff,
Mhm.
the historical walking tours, all that sort of thing, and then going to Portugal for
Ooh.
another week just to sit on the beach.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
That that
we
that sounds perfect.
yeah we needed a bit of both. We couldn't decide on doing one or the other, so
Yeah, get
yeah,
get your exercise in with UK, and then get
yeah,
your chill time in with Portugal. I like it.
exactly, yeah.
That's cool. I'm planning, fingers crossed. I'm hoping to go with my kids to Ireland next summer.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we're hoping that that's gonna happen. And so far, I think um they haven't closed off or shut down the uh, external travelers.
Right.
Uh, so I think they've been open again for about 6 months, allowing people to travel
Hmm.
into the UK. So hoping it stays that way.
Yeah, and it's good that you're not going now because everything I've seen about Ireland and the airports there is just nasty. Like I see
I've
pictures
heard
of the
that too.
Dublin airport, people waiting for 4 hours. I mean, it's not much better here. We're having a
Yeah.
ton of bad stuff with our airlines as well, but
Oh,
yeah, that seems to be a lot worse. Yeah, people are
oh,
losing
that's
bags
crazy.
constantly and like all these flights are getting canceled. It's like a nationwide thing that's happening right now. Air Canada is having so many problems. Thankfully, I'm not
Oh,
taking that airline, so I
yeah,
hope all
yeah.
goes
It's
well
just
this week.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully so. Hopefully you don't run into any hiccups.
Hmm.
Yeah, UK is super cool. I've never,
Hmm.
yeah, well, I've never been to either one, so you're one up on me there, Mercy.
Yeah, it is. I've been to
Yeah.
England But I was a kid, so I don't really remember much of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's an awesome place. Same with Portugal. I mean, it's basically like going on a less expensive version of Spain or something. You get all the same great stuff. But
Right.
yeah.
That's cool. I've
Mhm.
never been out of the United States unless you count Hawaii, which we really shouldn't because it's one of the U.S. It's one of the states. So
Mhm.
yeah, I've never been out of the U.S., but my top of my bucket list has always been Ireland. So
Mhm. Well, hopefully it all works out next year.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope so. I've been watching videos on what best practices things to do in Ireland and
Mhm.
stuff like that. So yeah, and I've been learning Irish on Duolingos. So
Oh, wow.
I'm working on getting my basic language skills down anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, it's cool. Jared's here. Hello,
Hey.
hello. Cool, man. So have you been doing any? Have you been reading many books lately?
It took a steep decline, honestly. So essentially, I went from having one job that was 99% from home, with a lot of flexibility, to
Sure.
having now that job plus another one where I commute every day and it's
Oh
all in
wow.
office, right? So I was reading 1 to 2 books a week, just
Hmm.
cruising through all these big fantasy books, all the stuff we like. But now I'm going at a rate of like, I don't know, one every 2 weeks. And then I'll listen to audiobooks on my commute.
Sure.
But now I've been reading book 6 of the Wheel of Time. I actually have like 20 pages left, and this has taken me a full 3 weeks to read, which, to
Oh
most
wow.
people is a normal time to read a book. But to me,
Hmm.
who was coming off of reading them so quickly, I just, that seems like it's been too long. Like I've been with this book forever. So yeah, doing that. But this is 1,000-page book. I think it's the longest one in the series potentially.
Okay.
So yeah, hopefully goes a bit quicker after this. Now that I'm more used to the schedule, but yeah, we'll see.
Right.
Mhm.
Is book 6 the book that starts the quote unquote slog, or is that book 7?
No, as far as I know, it's book 8.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but don't quote me on that. That may be wrong. Um, yeah, and I'm not like too worried about them. Those ones are a bit shorter, and
Yeah.
I've been enjoying the series so far. So we'll see what happens with those, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one person I follow said she was gonna do the find a way to find the Cliff's notes for the slog and then finish the
Hmm.
series from there. It's a tough one. I DNF the series at least
Yeah.
temporarily for now. I might go back at some point,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, I remember that video that you posted
mhm.
talking about that. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
my one and only video that blew up actually. That one,
Oh,
and I
really?
wasn't surprised. I figured
Yeah.
that would be an exploder.
Hmm. Okay. Book
Okay,
7 to 10,
sounds
The
good.
Slog.
Okay, different for each reader. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Hey,
Hmm.
Scott, glad to have you. Yeah, Lord of Chaos is a bit chunky.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
it is.
So
It's a big
seems
one.
like you're right on track then. That's
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah.
especially like with books like this, I like to listen to kind of read along podcasts.
Oh yeah,
So there's one called The Wheel Weaves out there, which is really good. I
I've
absolutely
heard
love
of
it.
that one.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great. And they're also from Canada. So I feel like I should support them with that too.
yeah.
And so I listen to that after every chapter, or I try to do it like, at the end of the day or whatever. So it takes a bit longer as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then like I feel like that's a lot, but my girlfriend is also going through them, but doing the audiobooks. So she's
Okay.
just listening to tens of hours of content all the time because it's the chapters, then the chapters podcast, right? So
Uh-huh.
it's a lot.
Yeah, that is.
Mhm.
So I take it your girlfriend is a fellow nerd?
Not really,
Not
honestly.
really?
I've been very pleasantly surprised and really enjoying both of us going through this series. I mean,
That's
before
cool.
Wheel of Time, I think she had read Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and stuff like that. But then we were watching the Wheel of Time show, and I was pointing out all the things that the book did better
Mhm.
because it was a little clunky of a show, but And she's like, oh, that actually sounds pretty good. So then we got Audible, got like the free trial or whatever, got the Eye of the World on there, and then just kind of started on this journey. So then when I go through a book, she starts the audio one, and we keep up together and try to wrap it up after we finish a section. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome. And that podcast sounds really fun. And then I think that would make a series like that more enjoyable to read if you had
Oh,
a
for sure.
podcast to follow it up with. So that
Yeah.
makes sense.
I did that for the Dark Tower as well, too. There's a really good one for that.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, I haven't listened to that one. I did recently finish Dark Tower, though. I loved it.
Yeah. Such a
Bought the
good series.
first one all the time,
I
but
noticed your shirt.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. It's yeah, huge Dark Tower fan. It
Yeah.
wasn't my favorite series of all time, but it was definitely a keeper. I'll probably reread it at some point.
Oh, 100% for me too. I
Yeah.
don't reread things a ton, but I know I have another read through of that series again. 100%.
Yeah,
And then after I
absolutely.
finished, I went through the Gunslinger again for like the third time, just because I was like, and also kind of relating to the Dark Tower in a way, like to go through the Gunslinger again kind of makes sense,
Yeah,
without getting too much into what happens in the last book. But
right.
yeah, definitely have another read of that one coming up in the next few years.
I've heard that some people for when they do the reread, they start with book 4
Mm.
and then
Yeah,
go
okay, I
into
see that.
the Gunslinger because you get a full compass of Roland's backstory that way.
That's not actually a bad idea,
Mm-hmm.
considering how many times I've read the first book. It took me a while to like actually, get the ball rolling on the series. But yeah, book 4 that was my favorite personally. I don't know about you, but
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, that probably is my favorite actually of the series.
mhm,
I really liked Wolves of the Kala as well, and the
yeah,
Gunslinger is my least favorite of the series.
yeah, I
That was a
understand why.
tough one for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Scott wants to find the podcast.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's
Oh,
called,
book 7 already. That's awesome.
Kingslingers.
Kingsley. Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're really good. So they've been doing. I mean, they started. Yeah, Wizard and Glass. Yeah, so good. But that podcast, they've completed the series for the
Hmm.
Dark Tower. So everything you want to listen to for every book in that so far has been put out. And so right now they're going through Dark Tower related books within Stephen King's universe. So I think they did
Hmm.
Salem's Lot at one point. I think they're doing The Talisman, or they just finished The Talisman, Eyes of the Dragon, stuff like that. Whole backlog of Dark Tower content for you to listen to if you want to finish it up before you're
Wow.
done book 7. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I might one of these days when I reread it, I'll definitely have to check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Audiobooks for Wheel of Time are long but enjoyable. Yeah, Kate Redding and Michael Kramer are pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
felt bad for the showrunners because I even though there were a lot of changes that they just didn't need to make, overall it wasn't horrible, but I felt bad especially because they really had to pull it together after whatever happened to Barney Harris.
Mm, yeah, for sure.
After he had to leave the show, they really had to figure out a way to pull that off because I don't think they ever did say what happened to him. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's one thing we might never find out, but
Yeah.
that stuff happens all the time in Hollywood, right? So,
Yeah, it does.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not really any of our business, and
Hmm.
I hope he's okay. But
Yeah.
yeah, that kind of threw a wrench in it.
Oh, for sure. Especially that ending there. It was so awkward, just kind of the way he was like CGI'd into a different scene and
Mm-hmm.
super weird. But the thing I'm curious about is like with that show, for the most part, it was an adaptation of The Eye of the World with some other stuff thrown in from The Great Hunt and even I think from The Dragon Reborn. But
Yeah.
like, are they gonna do 15 seasons or 14?
I heard that they were hoping for 8.
8.
So that you said, yeah, they're gonna probably have to cut some stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which
I mean,
and I don't know what it would be because I haven't read the books, but
yeah.
or not all of them anyway. I've
Hmm.
read Eye of the World and The Great Hunt, but
Hmm.
it's been years since I read The Great Hunt, so
Hmm.
Eye of the World was a reread for me.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I hope it does well. I'll probably continue watching the show, And who knows, maybe if the show gets even better, maybe that'll give me an extra kick in the pants to start the books again. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would love for it to be a great show and a good adaptation. So I'll watch season 2 for sure. But,
Yeah,
you know, if it's not great, then, it's not great. Well, at least there's
exactly.
still the books.
Right. Yeah. I've heard that. Yeah, yeah. Scott's got a popular sentiment there. It's
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of people feel that way. Um, Speaking of adaptations, do you have any that you're excited about coming up?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I'm so out of the loop with pop culture right now that I don't really know what's coming out. I know there's a Salem's Lot adaptation,
I heard that. Yeah,
but I
yeah,
know next to nothing about it.
yeah. Same.
What else is coming out? Are there any good ones?
Well, Sandman for one
Mm,
comes
true.
out August 5th,
Hmm.
and I think it might be August 13th that House of the Dragon comes out.
Oh right, yeah, the Game of Thrones show.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then we're still waiting on season 3 of His Dark Materials. So
Right. Which is
those,
great because I've only read the first two. So when the
mm,
third one comes out, I'll actually have a reason to read it.
yeah, they've done a great job with the adaptation, I think.
Mhm. Yeah, the
Uh,
trailers look great and everything. Like,
mhm.
looks like a decent show, but for some reason I've never gotten around to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's well cast. It's much more faithful to the books than the movie was.
Right, yeah.
So yeah,
Um,
but um, the law is excellent. Oh yeah. Okay. Have either of you read the law? Yeah, I haven't yet because I'm not quite there in the series. But
yeah.
have you read the law, Julian?
No, but I have it and I have it downloaded on my phone for the plane ride
Yeah,
for my trip. I am very excited to listen to it. I hope
yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
Oh, August 21st. Oh, I thought it was the 5th. Okay, never mind. That's right. We're talking House of the Dragon. I was thinking Sandman. Thank you, Scott. Never mind the aging gentleman behind the camera here who can't get his words straight. Yeah, I'm all mixed up here.
Uh,
Yeah, I've heard it follows right on the heels of Battleground, and I'm also kind of torn because James Marsters is my boy, and he's
yeah.
not narrating this one. I'm like, I'll bet you anything it's going to happen the same way it did with Changes, where there was this huge outcry from the fan community, and they do a re-record just so James Marsters can do it. That's my
Yeah,
guess.
potentially. I mean, good thing is this is a novella or a
Yeah.
short story. And, Jim Butcher did record for a short story in the past. I think he did it
Mm.
from Mark Cohn's perspective, which was
Oh, okay.
surprisingly like an interesting choice for him to do it himself.
Mm.
But yeah, Marsters is the best. He's the reason I'm into audiobooks now. Like, he completely made that series for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I only started listening to Marsters with book. Let's see, I just finished book 7. I think I did it for 6 and 7. I
Mhm.
didn't listen to Marsters for the first 5, and
Right.
and now I'm hooked. That's the only way I want to do it as immersive.
Yeah, same here. I started with the audiobooks on 9. Okay,
Okay.
good to know that it
Yeah.
was, at least serviceable for the narration.
Yeah.
So I started with 9, um, 10, 11, and then because I've been checking them out of the library app, I couldn't get it for Changes, which sucks because Changes is a crazy book and I would have loved to
Oh
hear his
yeah.
narration. And then did it for the rest. But then the copy they had at the library for 13, Ghost Story, was the one that John Glover did. I think that
Mm,
was his name.
mhm.
So that threw me for a bit of a loop. Um, but then for, yeah, the rest of them getting back to Marsters was good to have for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think they had Marsters come in and re-record that one. I think that might have been the
Yeah,
one.
I
So
heard that. Yeah, so it just kind of sucks that that's the version the library
yeah,
had. Yeah.
I know. Hey, Theo's here. Welcome. Um, yeah, yeah, I'm loving it. I'm a huge fan of Marsters anyway. I don't know if you ever saw the Runaways, Marvel's Runaways. It was on Hulu, I think, or I don't know
No.
if how you get stuff like that up there, but it's it's kind of in the Marvel universe a little bit, and
Right.
he played a key role in that show. And then of course I'm a huge Buffy fan, so
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the
Yeah.
right move there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Buffy has been a thing that I've been trying. Like, I love the show. I'm
Uh-huh.
only on season 5. I
Yeah.
think my sister just finished season 5, but we have been trying to get through all of Buffy for like 8 years. And we always run into just situations where we just stop watching for no reason. But I think we really hit a wall at season 4,
Okay.
like when they go to college for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all like the weird military stuff down there. I
Yeah.
would love to finish it, but yeah, my favorite character is Spike.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Spike is amazing. And yeah, and I think that season 4 is probably the hardest one. I know it is for me. I'm stuck in season 4 right now too,
Mhm.
partly because uh, I'm trying to watch Buffy and Angel
Mhm.
concurrently since they overlap at that
Right.
point. So that's what's taking me longer. But I'll be honest. I think I like Angel better than Buffy as far as the show goes. But I still
Mhm.
like Buffy a lot. It's it's a hard choice, but Angel just slightly outbeats Buffy for me.
Yeah,
But
that
they're
was the
both great
mistake
shows.
we made the first time, was just trying to do 2 shows at once where we could
Yeah,
hardly just go through Buffy together. But yeah, Angel seemed cool. Like, I like the detective aspect of it. Like, of course, being a Dresden fan, like the supernatural detective stuff is just so many things that I like put into one, right? So
yeah,
maybe so the plan is to finish Buffy and then go through Angel straight
yeah,
through. So we'll see if that works.
definitely.
Hmm.
Okay, Rusty was more of an Angel fan. Yeah, he's great. He's
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. And I haven't watched other stuff that he's been in yet. I've heard Bones is good. Um, so yeah. Yeah, cool. Yeah, there's some awesome stuff. I don't know if you've read the Sandman graphic novels.
No, I mean, that's one giant thing that I've been meaning to get into for so long. I think I bought the first collected version 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
when I was just starting like school, and I've had it in my closet now for that whole time.
Yeah.
I think it was just the cost. I didn't want to buy like 15 or whatever volumes it is of this, but I did
Mm-hmm.
find out the library has it, so I can read it on my iPad.
Nice.
So like now getting back into comics a bit more this year,
Yeah.
that's on the list because I heard it's amazing, and of course it has such a huge fan base. I know you're a big fan of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really what put Neil Gaiman on the map. It's his yeah, that's what made him real famous.
Hmm.
And it's really great. I think that I think that the audible versions are equally excellent.
Hmm.
So if you're looking for something else for your commute,
Oh yeah, for sure.
check out the audio versions, because the nice thing about the audio versions is they compensate for the fact that you're not doing it visually.
Hmm.
So they add in explainers, and it doesn't feel off-putting at all. It feels like normal, and it flows very naturally. So they add in explainers for the scenes that you're missing from not reading it physically. And
Right.
yeah, I thought it was extremely well done.
Okay.
They've
Cool.
yeah, they've done about the first 5 or 6 volumes on Audible so far. But
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely add that to the when I get a credit next. Maybe I'll check that one out for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and James McAvoy does the voice for Dream.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh man, he is brilliant.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's real. Of course, James McAvoy, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm sold. Yeah, I'm gonna get it next month. Yeah.
oh, let's see
Yeah. And
here.
does the adaptation look any good?
It does. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see. Oh yeah, yeah, very cool.
There you go.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, the adaptation looks fantastic. I'm just they've done some great casting. they got some flack early on because of some of the casting changes, like and stupid ones. I mean, they got flack for casting a black woman in the place of the librarian,
Okay.
because in the comic the librarian is a white male, but who cares?
Yeah, people are gonna complain about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
So they got some complaints for the casting choices. They cast they cast can't talk. They cast a woman of color as Dream's sister Death.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see why that matters, but
Yeah.
apparently it does. People just want to complain about you know, about stuff like that, and I just don't get it.
No, it's
I think
literally in
the
everything
casting was
now.
perfect. It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
everyone's complaining about something. You
Yeah.
know, if the cast is more diverse, like in literally every franchise now. I remember seeing people complain about like Targaryens in the new Game of Thrones show. It's like,
Yeah.
relax, everybody. What's the problem with having a more diverse cast? Like, there's literally no problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel the same way, and yeah. Myself. I never watched Buffy, assuming it was just vampire and monster stuff. It is. It's
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of similarities I'm finding in the style between Dresden and Buffy. Actually, it's
Yeah, for
very
sure.
at least early on, Dresden is very much monster of the week, and so is Buffy in a lot of
Mm-hmm.
ways. So yeah, it is. But
Yeah.
it's just good old fashioned corny fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very tonally similar. Now
Very
that I
totally
think of it.
similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, hey.
it says hi. Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the guy that they cast to play Dream in the show is he's just how I imagined he would be.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
So
Mm-hmm.
they've got Charles Dance playing one of the major roles in the show, so that's cool. They've got some
Mm-hmm.
star power there. And then they cast quite a few unknowns, which I think is awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's Netflix, right? That's
yeah.
doing it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, they're really doing a great job with it. I think between Netflix and Amazon, Netflix seems to have higher quality, with the exception of The Expanse.
Right. And I would add The Boys to that too. I'm a
The
big fan
Boys
of The
is really
Boys.
good too. Yeah.
And the production value on that is insane. Like, it's blockbuster levels.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're right in that Netflix is more consistent
Mm-hmm.
with their production values and the quality. And I'm just kind of going off and talking about fantasy, like the Wheel of Time show, just from a production value perspective,
Mm-hmm.
like not to talk about story, but that one felt a little bit like, I don't know, lower cost, I would say. And I know a lot of people online were saying that it looked like the actors were LARPing or cosplaying or something, which I kind of understand, but because I come from a videography and filmmaking background, so I like to look at this sort of thing. But yeah, I absolutely agree. Netflix is, especially having just finished season 4 of Stranger Things and seeing the amount of money they probably poured into that is like, blockbuster level for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. They've got some misses, but then they've got some big hits. I mean, The Expanse was really well done. Good Omens is another one. I forgot about that one. Good Omens was really well done as well. And I think that's mostly due in part to Neil Gaiman being so actively involved with the production.
Right.
He doesn't. In fact, from what I understand, he basically said, "You're not adapting this unless I'm involved," which
Which is
is
a
important.
solid way to go about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Butcher has cited Buffy and Angel as huge influences. Yeah, that I can totally see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Obvious
Yeah.
stunt doubles. Yeah.
Yeah, we always point that
Pretty
out
obvious.
here, especially Buffy's. Like, at least in the first 4 seasons, the wigs on the stunt double were so bad.
Oh, I know.
And now that they've blown it up to HD, it's just like, and then you see when like Angel's in there in a fight scene, it's some super buff guy who's like, David Boreanaz is a big guy, but he's not like ripped like some of these stunt double guys are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I think I forget what we called her, but we always said, "Oh yeah, Susan's on screen again." Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, there's some corny stuff, but that's kind of what makes it fun and lovable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't know if I'll rewatch it once I finish the series, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely fun for at least once watch through.
Mm-hmm. For
But,
sure. I heard it kind of gets better again at the end.
okay,
Like a little it tightens up a bit back to its
uh,
roots.
that's good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, that's important. Oh, cool. I'm watching movies to see the bad CGI and stunt doubles. Yeah, yeah, right. That's part of the fun of it. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I agree. The bad CGI, not so much. It's too distracting sometimes. Like I don't even know what to say for this, but even movies like the Star Wars prequels, like
yeah,
like the CGI was revolutionary. Don't get me wrong, but watching them now is a little like, eesh,
yeah.
a
I
little
get
rough.
it.
Yeah.
Do you find since you're in kind of that the film and film mode and since you do film and stuff like that, do you find that makes you more aware of those than maybe other people?
I think so a little bit. I think, CGI as an example, I think most people are going to kind of tell when it's a little off.
Yeah.
Like I remember one time a couple years ago, I have a little sister who's 10 now, and I think she was maybe like 4 or 5 at the time, but they were putting a Star Wars marathon on TV and they were playing the originals and we watched them whatever, and then
Yeah.
the prequels came on and there was some really bad CGI and she goes, "Oh, that's wrong. That's fake." I'm like, "Yeah, it makes sense. Like if even this 4 or 5-year-old could tell that something's a little off, then you're kind of on the wrong path for what you're
Yeah.
doing in the movie." But I find I get more distracted by story things, especially being such a book reader
Oh
like I
yeah.
am. Being and then watching adaptations is hard. I That's why I mention this all the time in my videos, but I like to watch the movies first for a lot of
Hmm.
things, just so I can take it as a movie on
Hmm.
its own without having to, think of how it's connected, and then let it sit for some time and then go and read the book and see how it's a bit more fleshed out, because then I'll appreciate both as their own thing. And that's what I did for The Shining. And I think
Uh-huh.
that was like the best way to go about it, because I probably would have hated the movie if I had read the book first, like
Right.
Stephen King does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was not pleased with that, I heard.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've never watched The Shining, and of course I haven't seen Doctor Sleep either, the sequel. So,
Hmm.
but I've wanted to. I like Jack Nicholson. I'm a huge fan of Nicholson. So,
Hmm.
what still one of my favorite movies of his to this day is A Few Good Men. Man,
Right. Yeah.
he was brilliant in that
Hmm.
movie.
Well, yeah. That's
As the Joker in Batman, but that kind of goes without saying. But
yeah. Two very different roles that you just
yes,
compared there. Yeah.
yeah, way to be a rebel. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Interesting. So he likes the adaptation even better, and
Hmm.
an even more incredible book. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Cool.
it's an amazing book too. Everyone always talks about, The Shining being potentially the greatest horror movie of all time, which,
Right.
I would argue on some days that it is. But the book is like probably one or two of my favorite haunted house stories, between that and The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
So it's up there. It's a scary book. I mean, it's legitimately creepy what happens
Hmm.
in that. So yeah, something I'd highly recommend.
Yeah.
Sure. Hmm.
I'll definitely probably check it out before reading the book.
Hmm.
And see what I think. I did that with Lord of the Rings. I watched the first movie before I ever read the books,
Hmm.
and then I
Yep.
went through and read the series before the second movie came out. But
Hmm.
yeah, watching movies can make you hate the movie less. That's
Yep.
true.
For sure.
So you mentioned The Haunting of Hill House.
Hmm.
That was fantastic for
Oh
me.
yeah.
What did you think of Bly Manor?
I haven't watched that
Okay.
actually. I heard it wasn't as good. And I heard that Mike Flanagan wasn't as involved in that one because he was probably working on Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it, honestly.
I really liked Bly Manor,
Okay.
but in a different way. It's very different from the first one, but it was still very good, I
Hmm.
thought. Yeah. Um, I like it. Team Kubrick all the way. Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
Kubrick's pretty amazing. I haven't seen all of his stuff.
Hmm.
Like Clockwork Orange, I think was one. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah, that's
seen
his.
that one yet.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like what I have seen of Kubrick.
We're a Kubrick family here.
Yeah.
Everyone in my
Nice.
family loves Stanley Kubrick's movies.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Kubrick's definitely kind of a different animal. Very
Hmm.
trying to think of the word I want. Uh he's very oh, I can't think of it. He does his own thing, I'll put it that way. He's very
Yes,
much unconventional.
definitely.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's the word I was wanting. Unconventional. David Lynch is another very unconventional
Hmm.
director.
Yeah, he's one of my
Um,
favorites too. I love David
yeah,
Lynch. Yeah.
yeah. Lynch is great. Um, and even though it wasn't a great adaptation, I think Dune is still one of the best sci-fi movies of all time,
Hmm.
in my
It,
opinion.
that's an unfortunate case where I did read the book first,
Yeah,
and of course was comparing it and was kind of put off by the hokiness of it and how dated it is. But it's a silly movie, but it's still a David Lynch movie. It's crazy and out there, but the
yeah,
design and the production is so creative. Like you can't help but love it in a way.
yeah. Absolutely. I didn't read the book until I was in my mid 20s for the first time, and I was a teenager when I started watching the Dune movie,
Hmm.
and I think I'd probably seen the movie at least 10 times before I read the book. It's
Hmm.
just one of my all-time favorites. It has so much nostalgia for me, and who cares if it's not accurate?
Yeah,
Although I did love the new movie as well. I thought it
yeah, it
was
was good.
excellently done.
Yeah,
I
very well made. And I'm
yeah,
surprised, like, well, I guess I'm not surprised, but it's shocking that something as kind of out there as Dune did so well as
yeah,
a kind of straightforward um, blockbuster sci-fi movie, which I thought was a really good way to kind of market and sell that sort of storytelling,
hmm
as a movie. I thought that was well done, and Canadian director, so
yeah,
needed to
right.
support that, of course.
Yeah, Denis Villeneuve, I think, is the only director that could have pulled it off. To be
Yeah,
honest, in my opinion, because
unless they wanted to make it a really weird art film, like what they hired David Lynch or even like Jodorowsky before him.
Jodorowsky,
Yeah,
yeah, that I heard about the Jodorowsky vision for it, and I'm like,
mm,
wow, that's okay. That's a little creepy,
yeah,
actually. That's
would have
just
been.
kind of out there.
I mean, out of morbid curiosity, I would have loved to have seen that movie
Oh yeah.
if it ever existed, but it would be terrible. I think like a five
hmm
hour, completely like random, not even really an adaptation at a certain point, but a fascinating story of the
Yeah.
behind the scenes stuff.
And I think there's a Jodorowsky cut out there. I mean, it doesn't include any footage, of course, because I he never really did anything with it.
Mhm.
But I think it has like maybe commentary or stuff included with it that was that talked about some of Jodorowsky's vision. I
Mhm.
could be wrong, but I heard something like that.
Yeah, the only one I'm aware of is the documentary,
Okay.
which is what kind of told the story of that. But in
hmm
the documentary, they talk about that he storyboarded the whole movie, and
hmm
there's only 3 copies in the world that exist of it, and I think he has most of them. So like the Dune movie that he made exists in storyboard kind of comic book format, but no one's ever going to see it, which is a
Right.
bit of a shame. But
Yeah, that
yeah.
is a shame. Yeah, it would be interesting to see just for shock value, maybe.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, that was really. I'm a big fan of Villeneuve. I have not seen. Is it? It's not Arrival, is it?
Yeah, he
Oh,
did
oh,
Arrival
it
as
is.
well.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't seen Arrival. I keep getting
Mhm.
that mixed up with Contact for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't seen Arrival, but I
Mhm.
saw Blade Runner 2049, and that was
Mhm.
absolutely brilliant. I thought, in my personal opinion,
Mhm.
and of course Dune, and so yeah.
Yeah, his early movies are good too. I'm not sure if you've seen Enemy, the one he did with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh no, I haven't.
No, so yeah, it's a thriller, but it's got surreal elements to it.
Okay.
And it takes place in Toronto and where I live just outside of the city too. So it was kind
Nice.
of funny seeing it that way, especially with like an A-list star. But yeah, really solid thriller, short, smaller budget, like definitely not the scale of what he did later, but if you're into his stuff, like you got to watch it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I will definitely check it out because
Mhm.
he's slowly becoming one of my favorite directors.
Mhm.
So I think I'll have to watch
Mhm.
and check that out. Yeah.
Yep. And I heard he was attached to an adaptation of Rendezvous with Rama.
I heard that too.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
would be really interesting to see because that's not the most action-packed book or anything like that. It's very kind of meticulous in its just scientific detail and people just going about their jobs. So I'd like to
Hmm.
see how he blends his blockbuster style with something like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have not read Rendezvous with Rama, but it's been on my list of classic sci-fi to read.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does with it. I first heard that he was attached to that on Quinn's channel. Do you watch Quinn? Quinn's
Uh,
Ideas?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen a bunch of his videos. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He's really great, especially with uh, his specialty really is Dune lore and
Mm-hmm.
also Song of Ice and Fire lore. He's
Right, that's
really
where he
good for that.
started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, so hopefully, that comes to fruition because that sounds like it'd be a cool movie to check out, but we'll see if it actually happens.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I know he's gonna finish. He's gonna finish the Dune movie, and then
Mhm.
I think he's talked about adapting Dune Messiah too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That would be. I haven't read it yet. I mean, I have most of them. I think I only have one left that I haven't collected. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
them with the old covers because they're so weird.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, I heard Dune Messiah is great. It's really short though. I think my copy is like less than half the size of my Dune book.
Yeah. It's the shortest book in the series, I think. Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty excited to read it myself. I started reading it after I read Dune the first time,
Mhm.
and I DNF'd it at the time. It just wasn't working for me, but I want to try it again.
Mhm. Yeah.
I do remember it being very different from Dune in a
Mhm.
lot of ways.
Yeah, it seems like the series takes a turn. I mean, I
Mhm,
really at least want to get to God Emperor of Dune because the cover of
mhm.
that is so weird. Like the guy who looks like a worm, and I just need to understand what the hell is going on there.
Right.
Honestly, it's so weird. And I showed a picture of it to my brother. He's like, "Wow, I guess that series really takes a turn later on."
Right.
Yeah, so but I
I
heard that one's, pretty good still, hopefully.
I watched the adaptation of Children of Dune on Sci-Fi Network way back
Right.
in the day, and
Yeah.
even though the cinematography was just really weird in both of those miniseries,
Yeah.
they did do pretty good justice to the first Dune book.
Mhm.
And the story for Children of Dune was pretty interesting, seeing him become the worm and everything. So it's
Mhm.
like, oh, that's yeah, that's kind of strange.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited to get to it.
and unfortunately, the original cover, he does not look like a worm, and we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I really gotta find that then. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
it's
I love these old weird covers. That's like one of the
I
things
know.
I collect used books for is just the old covers. I love the painted ones.
Yeah,
So
that's
good. Yeah.
cool. Do you have the I think I remember seeing on your shelf, do you have the new Dune special edition that has the orange cover and he has the blue eyes and stuff like that?
No, I don't have that one. That looks really nice, but the one I
Yeah.
have is just says Dune, and it's just
Okay.
some stars in the background.
Oh, I've
Like,
seen
there's
that one.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was I think when did I buy that one? Maybe, like, 2013 or 14. Um, so not great. So that's why I wanted the rest of them at least to look the part of being this weird out there sci-fi book.
That makes sense.
Yeah. The one I
Well,
did have on my shelf, I think, was my Wizard and Glass
yeah.
special edition, well, illustrated edition.
Okay.
Yeah, love that one. So
Oh yeah,
I needed
that's
to get the
cool.
special version. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the special version is pretty cool. That's the copy that I have.
Mm-hmm.
And then they just announced that they're doing that treatment for Dune Messiah and Children of Dune as well.
Okay,
So
cool.
I think Children of Dune is going to have like a almost a neon blue type of cover,
Mm-hmm.
and then Children of Dune might have like a red or something like that. They look pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. If there's any reason for me to, want to buy new books these days, is for the special editions.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never read I've never read the Elric saga yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I went ahead and bought the first two Elric editions that are out
Yeah.
because they are just so gorgeous that I
Yeah.
mean that they just pop with colors.
Mhm.
So
And I think that's really the only way to read them nowadays, right? Like it'd be
hmm
hard to find the older versions of that.
oh yeah, the
Yeah.
older versions are out of print and they've got
Mhm.
all of them collected in these three editions. So
Mhm. Yeah, that's been on my list for a while. I started reading like the Conan series, like the classics, and I wanted to get into more sword and sorcery.
uh-huh.
So I heard the Elric saga was like, similar or in that vein, sort of.
hmm
So yeah, that's on the list, but that's for later. I got to
Yeah.
focus on the Wheel of Time. I still got so much of it to read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a ways to go for
Yeah.
sure.
Although I am breaking one of my YouTube rules. I initially said in one of my early videos that I wasn't going to read the Stormlight Archive until I got to 10,000 subscribers. But then I
hmm
decided I didn't want to wait like 15 years to read those books.
Right?
And I needed a good read for the beach for my vacation, right? My brother is a diehard fan of that series. And he's like, you know what? The Way of Kings is going to be perfect for your trip. So just go for it. And I'm like, okay, fine. So
hmm
yeah, I broke my promise to my fans, but
hmm
I really want to read that.
That's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Just
Mhm.
sometimes you got to make changes, so
Mhm.
it's all good. Way of Kings seems to be a really a favorite. Excuse me, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, of a lot of people.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Way of Kings, but it's my least favorite of the series.
Okay. And you've read all the four ones that have come out? Yeah.
hmm Yep, sure have.
Mm.
And I've
That,
read
yeah.
most of the Cosmere with the exception of Mistborn Era 2
Okay.
and I haven't read White Sand yet, but I ordered the special edition that Sanderson just announced for White Sand.
Okay. Cool.
So once it comes out, I'll read that. But
Mhm.
yeah, I read all the short stories except for a couple that have spoilers for Mistborn Era 2 and stuff.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Mistborn 1, like that trilogy was, and I did an entire video on this, like right when I started. Like that's what helped me get back into reading fantasy and especially modern fantasy.
hmm
Because I was really out of it. The only things I had read kind of in my 20s were Lord of the Rings and rereading Harry Potter and stuff like that. And starting Mistborn kind of kickstarted me into reading fantasy again and then leading to the channel. So like I always knew I wanted to get back into more Sanderson once I finished the third book, but
hmm
that's what everyone was talking about on BookTube, right? So
hmm
I was like, I can give it a break. People don't need to hear me talk about it. Uh, but yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about these books. I heard they're a little slow,
hmm
especially book 3 and 4. People were saying, but I'm just coming off of the longest Wheel of Time book, so it'll probably feel pretty fast in comparison.
It will. I didn't find books 3 and 4 to be that slow. Way of Kings was the slowest for me, and then the last two were kind of slow in some parts. Words of Radiance, Scott was mentioning here as his favorite.
Mm,
It's actually mine too. It has one of the best endings in the series
okay.
I've read yet.
Hmm.
Even though the others have good endings too, but Words of Radiance has a smashing ending.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
like at one of those epic moments that you feel should be a movie.
Hmm.
That's how it feels.
Oh,
Yeah,
I don't doubt it. That's in
yeah,
the Mistborn trilogy, every climax and finale was just huge.
yeah.
Like so many things that were unexpected and so many little details that you wouldn't think were important that come to play a huge part, even from like book 1 all the way to book 3. So
hmm
I don't doubt at all that he does that very well in the Stormlight Archive as well.
Yeah, and there's a huge twist in and I won't say what it is, but there's a huge twist in Rhythm of War.
Okay.
Um, I really don't like it, but a lot of people love it. But I won't say any more because it'll be
Okay.
spoilers. So yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, yeah, it's just yeah. I don't. I didn't really like it. I was not a fan, but that's okay. It's Sanderson's story. He does what he
Yeah.
wants. So
Hmm.
yeah, and that's the beauty of just enjoying these because you're enjoying somebody else's vision. So
Yeah.
um,
I get that with Robert Jordan a lot. Like some
yeah,
of the things I'm just like, this could have been maybe done differently or a bit more in a way that was more entertaining. But Robert Jordan is gonna do Robert Jordan no matter what.
right. Yeah, exactly. Um, did you? I don't know if you follow George R. R. Martin or not, but
Hmm.
I don't know if you saw that he did a recent blog post where he went into a lot of detail actually about Winds of Winter, a
Oh no,
surprising
I
amount
didn't.
of
I didn't
detail.
see that.
Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
I think you read those books, right?
Right. Yeah. I read the first three, and
Okay.
I recently listened to the audiobook of the Duncan Egg stories,
Oh,
which I
those are
think
great.
might be my favorite, like Westeros thing. Like they're
Yeah,
great.
Dunk and Egg are great.
Yeah. So yeah, I read the first three, and then the show ended, and like the Winds of Winter delay was going on forever. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to read 4 and 5 because I heard they're a little harder to get through until the series is done because I don't want to have to go through those two books
Yeah.
to potentially get to something that might never happen.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm in the loop with what's going on with Game of Thrones, but
Hmm.
we'll see if it actually ends up happening. So, did he say there was gonna be a release date or anything like that?
Not yet, no, but he did give some insight into his writing process, and he talked about a few other things. He mostly talked about the difference between a gardener and I forget what else he
Oh,
said, but
architect,
yeah,
right?
and an architect, yeah,
I've
gardener and
heard.
an architect, and he's much more of a gardener, and
Mhm.
he was talking about how much different the ending of the books will be from the show.
Okay.
Even though there will be some similarities, but he says some people that died are still around, and some people that are still around and die in the books. So,
Mhm.
and he didn't go into any specific details, though, but it's
Mhm.
pretty interesting. Books
Yeah.
4 and 5 are kind of two sides of a coin.
Right. They take place at the same time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they take place at the same time, just in different areas of the world. So,
Mhm.
yeah, you definitely want to read those back to back if you can, although I guess it's not absolutely necessary. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's probably best to wait until at least Winds of Winter comes out. That's a good plan. And some
Yeah.
people think it'll never come out, and I have high hopes. I mean, I George R. R. Martin is well, I shouldn't say he's one of my favorite authors. He's a great author, and
Mhm.
A Song of Ice and Fire is one of my absolute favorite series of all time.
Mhm.
But I haven't read any of his other stuff to really say, oh, he's one of my favorite authors.
Right.
So
Yeah, I like when he does what he's doing well, he does it the best. Like A Game of Thrones was such a good book. Like that's almost a perfect book to me. It
hmm
is amazing and just kind of what I needed at that time for
hmm
like what I was looking for in fantasy. Uh, and then, the show and everything.
hmm
But I think I read a couple of his short stories, like his sci-fi ones when I
hmm
was really into the books. They were pretty good, and they shared a lot with the Westeros stuff, like a lot of similar themes and character names. Like I think one had characters named Rob and Lyanna in
hmm
it. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe this will give me a clue as to where the series is going, but maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, he has posted and shared some stuff, but yeah, I mean, to this day, one of the most shocking scenes I have ever read is still the Red Wedding.
Mm.
And when it came to that part of the story on the show, I knew it was coming, but I was still shocked and awed by just how brutal it was.
Hmm.
It's still one of the greatest parts of that story, in my
Yeah, it's
opinion.
that was. I mean, I got it spoiled for me that it happened. And then, of course, when I read the books after having seen that in the show, it still doesn't really take away from it. Like, it's insane what is happening in both versions of the story.
Yeah.
And the way they
Yeah.
did it in the show, just kind of ramping up the tension and stuff like that. And the moment you realize what's going to happen is just really well done. And it makes me really sad that, the show couldn't sustain that kind of height of quality towards the end. Like recently I watched the first episode again. I was like, damn, this show was good. Like there's a reason why it was such a big hit. It was something else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And House of the Dragon, I have high hopes for it, but it's got big shoes to fill. It really does.
For sure.
And I'm not a huge fan of Matt Smith as an actor to begin with. I liked him okay in Doctor Who. I was a fan, but I liked David Tennant more. And then when I saw he was cast for House of the Dragon, I'm like, okay, all right, that's okay.
Yeah, but I've never seen Doctor Who, but I feel like that guy.
Yeah,
that's my brother.
Yeah,
that's the guy who won't stop talking about Stormlight.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Welcome. And we were talking about Stormlight, but you can keep talking about it with us if you want to, by all means. So,
yeah, sorry, he's Julian, the reason I'm reading those books. And he hooked me up with a really good box set of the first 3.
Nice.
As well. So, yeah, I have that upstairs. That's something I got to show. I did a couple book hauls in the last couple months that, some cool stuff in there, but I just haven't had the time to make a video. So maybe I'll just do a giant catch-up book haul as my first thing coming back, because those ones always did pretty well. I mean, people watching book those videos.
Popular. Yeah, for sure. The blog post was really good, as was his interview on the Game of Owns podcast. Oh yeah, I haven't heard that interview. Interesting. I'll have to check that out. Okay, yeah, the biggest Martin Stan there. Yeah, nice. I love it. Favorite series of all time. Very cool. Yeah, it's right up there with. In fact, it may be my favorite series of all time. I just haven't taken inventory to see if that's actually true. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Scott. It's that series. Once the series is complete, if it ever is, which I'm still feeling positive, it will definitely be a series I will reread again. So yeah. George likes to name characters that start with his initials. All the demigods in Elden Ring. Oh, interesting. I didn't think about that, but that's true. I've only begun my expedition in Elden Ring, so that is such a massive game, and it's hard as hell too.
Yeah, that's one I got to get into.
Instant death.
Yeah, Dark Souls from Software, like that's my favorite series of games.
Yeah.
But I knew that Elden Ring, that time commitment is just going to be too much for right now. Maybe in the holidays and like close to Christmas or something, but yeah.
Right.
And it's cool that he was involved in it in a way, putting out something that a lot of people love as well too, considering the amount of bad press he's gotten over the last couple of years. Yeah. So it's nice to see that.
It was nice to see that. Yeah. And the lore and the story really is excellent. So yeah.
Just ignore him.
Yeah, right. No, it's all good. Got to keep the family in it, right? It's all good.
Yeah,
my favorite book of all time. Okay, yeah. That's what Julian was saying.
Yeah,
oh yeah. That's a massive undertaking. I saw that Sanderson is playing it.
Yeah, he put out that video recently.
Yeah. Which is funny because normally, like he said in the past, that the only game he plays because he doesn't have time for anything else is Magic.
Right.
But he must have decided, hey, I'm going to play Elden Ring, and that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to diversify your hobbies, especially when we make such a big deal about our hobby of reading, right? So it's nice to balance it out. You get so kind of over involved in the books. Like that's how I kind of felt leading into taking a break, was like reading became a job. And I was like, I guess you can get into that hole sometimes. So it's nice to play a video game or watch a couple movies.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what I've been trying to do lately is, diversify what I'm doing. I've been trying to allowing myself to play some video games
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then I have a bunch of shows I watch too, but I watch them with my kids, so I kind of save it to watch with them. We
Mhm.
just the other night, my daughter got home from work at like 10 p.m. and we watched the last episode of Stranger Things, which is like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it was long.
Oh man, it was so late and we were all so tired, but we were like, no,
Yeah.
we can't stop.
Yeah. I just finished that yesterday. That was huge. That was a big finale.
That was the best season yet, in my opinion. They really killed killed it with that series in general.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, I remember really liking season 1 like everyone
Mhm.
did, but I haven't watched it since it came out, so it's hard to compare, but I know I definitely like this one more than the last two
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, and they've all been good. They've all had their high points, but yeah, this one made my nerdy heart proud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some good moments in there. I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil it in case you haven't
right.
watched it, but yeah, plenty of good stuff.
And then we've been watching season 3 of The Umbrella Academy, and
Mhm.
we still have yet to make it past episode 1 of Obi-Wan, but we're hoping to watch more of Obi-Wan
Mhm.
tonight, maybe. So,
Yeah, I have one more episode of that, I
hmm,
think. Yeah.
nice. I was impressed with episode 1 at least, and so
Mhm. Yeah, I
see what
really
they
liked
do with it.
seeing Ewan McGregor back in that role. Like he just fit it so well. And especially
Hmm.
I was a kid when those came out, right? So seeing him
Yeah.
back as Obi-Wan was, you know, really cool.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. I was a kid. I was a kid when the original trilogy came out. I remember going to the theater when Empire Strikes Back came out for the first time.
Oh
And
wow.
that was I was a toddler when the first movie came out, so
Mhm.
I didn't go to see that one in the theater, but I saw Empire
Yeah.
Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi on upon very first release in the theater, and man,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a huge stan, as Scott says. I'm a huge stan for Star Wars.
Oh, same here. I have a tattoo
Yeah.
of Star
Okay.
Wars.
Oh, nice, nice,
Yeah.
even better.
I mean,
Nice.
my my standness of it has kind of taken a hit like recently with some of the inconsistent entries, but like I still
Yeah,
remember a time when the original movies were the only ones that we had on
yeah.
VHS. So like I still have
Hmm.
this childhood love for the series. And like yeah, the prequels are the prequels, but there's a certain level of nostalgia I have for them, even though the
Yeah,
quality definitely isn't like the first trilogy of movies.
right. Yeah, it definitely isn't. Although I will say Rogue One was brilliant. I thought that really brought home the nostalgic feel for
Oh
Star
yeah.
Wars with Rogue
That's
One.
funny because that's the one I didn't like.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I came out of that
Well,
one being like, "Oh, really?" But yeah, I
yeah.
understand a lot of people like that one because it is really, they were going for the war aspect of Star Wars.
Mhm.
And especially coming off of The Force Awakens, where like I really like The Force Awakens, but some people were like too like they're upset that it leaned in too much to the Skywalker stuff, from what I
Mhm.
understand, and like the lore and the mystery of it. So like I could see why that would be a refreshing tone shift for Star Wars. But I'm
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those weirdos who loves The Last Jedi, so like I can't say
Yeah.
much.
Oh, I liked The Last Jedi too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I liked it. It was they did a good job with what they did what they could with it, having to pick up the pieces from
Mhm.
um oh
Yeah, The Force
oh,
Awakens.
never mind. I'm thinking of Rise of Skywalker.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. But Last Jedi was good though. Yeah, I didn't
Mhm.
absolutely hate it, but it got a little weird, especially toward the end. I'm like, oh really? Okay. Leia learned to fly in space pretty quickly there. Uh,
Yeah, that one's been nothing if not super divisive. I've had
yeah,
arguments with
my
plenty of people over that one, but
yeah. Yeah, that was definitely interesting. I mean, I get it. She's had many years to hone her skills, but really, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
Team Rogue One, there we go.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan was thoroughly whelming. Yeah, I've heard really good things
Yeah.
about it. Last Jedi's the best Star Wars.
You're gonna
Okay,
start a war. Oh my
all
god.
right. Well, let's see. Where can I delete a comment? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
I'm
think the
kidding.
only one that comes close to Empire Strikes Back is Star Wars, like
Okay.
the original. It's
Yeah.
those two right there are the best two, I think.
Oh yeah. Empire Strikes Back is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love it. And I think your brother's talking about Stranger Things here. Yeah, they made a whole movie for that
Yeah,
last one. Yeah, it
seriously.
was some crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you play It's all good, man. We still love you. It's all
Yeah.
good. I won't delete your comment. I was just joking. Or was that? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Did you play any video games?
Oh yeah, I played a ton growing up. Less now. But I'm like one of those people who will not play a video game for 8 months and then like go super intense into one and do nothing else. And then after that's done, like not even think about them. But growing up, I mean, I was a PlayStation kid. I had all the PlayStations and stuff and the Game Boys. And recently I've been getting into collecting retro game stuff.
Nice.
And playing, I want to start playing the Final Fantasy series because somehow I completely missed playing any of those growing up. So there's this really cool retro game store nearby. And I picked up Final Fantasy IV, the Game Boy Advance version. So I'm going to bring that on my trip and bring an old DS we have.
Nice.
To play it with. But in terms of like modern games, I really like the RPGs and stuff like The Witcher 3, Skyrim I've played 4 times, I think.
Oh, nice.
Played all the Dark Souls games through, I think, twice now. And Bloodborne. Bloodborne is definitely my favorite out of those.
Oh, yeah. I started that one too, and I got so frustrated I had to put it down for a while.
Yeah. No, same here. I almost quit at the first boss of Bloodborne because I'd played Dark Souls 3 before that and been like, wow, this is way harder. I don't like this. And then I tried it again, and then it ended up becoming my favorite in the series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm big into RPGs too. Like I've reached a certain point in the remake for Final Fantasy VII, and I haven't picked it back up yet, but they did a really great job. 7 is still my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time. So
yeah, I've heard like I remember that one that my uncle had it on PS1, and it was like 3 discs, and it was this huge thing. I was like, whoa, that looks so cool. But I think I was just a bit too young for it still. But now I'm gonna play it because they have all of them on Steam, right? And then so they're easy to get a hand on.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you guys like The Mandalorian and Boba Fett? I have not watched Boba Fett yet. That's one I haven't. I do want to see it eventually, but part of me doesn't really care about it. I mean, I like Boba Fett, but I don't think he needed to come back, to be honest. But
I mean, he's a cool character.
I'm okay.
But
He's a cool character, yeah, and I'm glad they did bring him back, but I don't know that he needed to. I think it was okay that he died in the Sarlacc pit and we're done, but I see why they brought him back. He's a fan favorite, and I'll probably watch the show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen The Mandalorian.
But
from what I understand, Mandalorian's cool. I liked season 1 a bit better, I think, because it was more focused on his story as opposed to the more Star Wars universe stuff. But from what I heard, you need to watch Boba Fett for more Mandalorian story. Like there's important stuff that happens there. So I think I need to, I'll check it out at some point.
Yeah, same here. I will too. Lady Jane's here. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Glad to see you. Bloodborne is an actual piece of high art. Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, especially if you love horror, if you are into H.P. Lovecraft at all and weird fiction, like Bloodborne is the perfect blend of that sort of thing. I know you love Lovecraft, and
Oh
we've
yeah,
talked about this
love
before, but
Lovecraft. Yeah.
yeah, I think Bloodborne probably is the best kind of modern version of the Lovecraftian outer worldness that I've seen in a modern piece of media. I think it is so well done.
I'm glad it was a winner. Yeah, it did feel very Lovecraftian to me, so I felt right at home with that. And yeah, I'm a huge fan of Lovecraft. The stories, not the human being. I'm
Yeah,
not I'm not
same
a,
here.
I'm not a fan of him, but I'm a fan of his stories for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always
Um,
something you got to kind of like a little asterisk whenever you talk about Lovecraft. But yeah, the stories are great. I mean, some of them are hit and miss. Like
yeah.
I bought a version of the like collected works, like every short story and novella he ever wrote. And getting through
Mhm.
some of the early ones were a bit tough, but I think by the time you get to like I don't even know, Color Out of Space and those ones, like he's really like there's a reason why he
Mhm.
almost invented a whole genre of
Oh,
horror.
absolutely. Yeah, The Color Out of Space was one of my favorites, and I've yet to see the movie. I need to watch the movie with Nick Cage,
Yeah.
um, but yeah,
I'd
it
like to
was
hear your
great.
thoughts on the movie
Yeah,
because like I loved some parts of it as a horror fan and some other parts of it were so weird and like such unique choices that
yeah,
don't totally work with the movie, especially it's Nicolas Cage, he's going to do whatever he wants.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of Nick Cage. I've seen some stuff I love, some stuff I don't, but I'll watch it just for the adaptation and see what I
Mhm.
think.
Yeah,
So
especially
I'll let you know.
yeah, the that director is planning on doing a couple more. I think he wants to do the Dunwich Horror and
Oh,
maybe the
okay.
Shadow over Innsmouth as well,
Oh, wow. I would
which would be
love to
cool.
see both of those done.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you watch the Stuart Gordon Dagon movie that they did of Shadow
No.
over Innsmouth? Okay, so it's
No.
it's an adaptation of Shadow over Innsmouth, but it's just called Dagon for
Mhm.
whatever purposes. And they changed the location to Spain because I think that's who funded the movie.
Oh, okay.
And it's Stuart Gordon, so it's a little cheesy and hokey, but it's a pretty straightforward adaptation,
Hmm.
more or less,
That's
of that.
good.
So
That's
I would say
cool.
put that on your list because at least as a Lovecraft fan, it's one you got to watch.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
There was a while where they were talking about they had picked up the Ballad of Black Tom for an adaptation. I don't know if you read that one.
No, I
It's
haven't.
by a guy named Victor Laval, and I only found out after I read the book. In fact, I think Ursi from Cersei's book, I think she was the one that told me that it is a retelling of the horror at Red Hook.
Oh,
And I didn't realize that, but after because I had not read the horror at Red Hook at that time, so
yeah.
after reading the horror at Red Hook, I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally see that. So
Mhm.
it's a brilliant little novella. It's about 120 pages or something like
Mhm.
that, and it would make a great movie. So
Mhm.
highly recommend if you like Lovecraft. I definitely recommend The Ballad of Black Tom. It's amazing. So
Okay, yeah, that sounds
yeah,
great. I hope they put a different spin on it than the horror at Red Hook because that one's a little tough, you know?
it is. That one is tough, and he did put a different spin on it. One that's much more friendly to people of color. I'll put it that
Mhm.
way.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that
it's
one stands out as being very dated and
yes, yeah. That
super
was
ignorant. Yeah,
that was definitely that's a good way to put it. That was
yeah.
definitely one of his more ignorant stories for sure.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, uh, he's just a xenophobe in general, so he didn't. But yeah, Victor Laval really gave it a great treatment, and he's a person of color as well. So
Okay.
he wanted to make sure that some of those wrongs were righted,
Mhm.
if you want to put it that way. So
Well, yeah,
yeah,
you picked the right story for it then.
yeah, he did.
So it's another one
Absolutely.
to add to the list. I gotta write this down.
Yeah, right.
Put it on my phone. Yeah, that sounds great.
Scott says Boba Fett was not great. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Well,
Mhm.
I love the Mandalorian, so I'll definitely check it out. Um, so Yeah, lots of so many books out there, and so little time, as they say,
Hmm.
right? And among other hobbies as well. Like
Mhm.
the games I've been playing lately, I'm a huge Castlevania fan,
Oh, nice.
so I've been playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is kind of like
Oh,
a
spiritual.
spiritual
Yeah.
successor. Yeah,
Mhm.
and that game is just brilliant, both visually and it's difficult, just like any good Castlevania game should be.
Mhm.
But the difference is with this game, you actually get to like you have an inventory, so you get to store your weapons in an inventory and use them in different situations. So
Mhm.
as long as you save, uh, like at once you get a new weapon, as long as you save before you die, you get to keep the weapon for the rest of the game. It's kind of cool.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely an improvement.
yeah.
Have you checked out the advanced collection they put out last year?
Yes, I got
Yeah.
that one
Okay.
too. Yeah,
Cool.
I started playing through that,
Mhm.
and I bought it mainly for Symphony of the Night.
Mhm.
That or wait, no, that's not
No,
in that
it's
collection.
got what, Aria of Sorrow?
Are you
I want.
sorry? That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
do have the Symphony of the Night and Rondo of Blood
Same here.
combination as
Yeah,
well.
I
So
have the
yeah,
exact same one.
yeah, it's yeah,
Mhm.
I love Castlevania. I
Mhm.
love the series as well on Netflix.
Yep, really good show.
Yeah, and they're bringing out a sequel to it too.
Yeah, and they're
So
gonna do, I guess, Rondo and Symphony of the Night for that one, right? Because
mhm.
it's Richter, it looks like,
Yeah,
who's
Richter Belmont.
yeah,
Yeah, it's gonna be
yeah.
pretty awesome. That show was amazing.
Mhm.
And I recently saw a video from Sarah on Sarah Reads. I don't know if you watch her channel,
Mhm.
but she talked about adaptations, and she was saying that she would like to see if they do another Dresden adaptation. She said she would like to see an animated version.
You know
And
what? Yeah, that's something I've thought of before. That sounds like it'd be the best way.
yeah, and then James Marsters could come back and do the voice too.
Exactly.
But that I think she said she would like to see it in the style of Arcane.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I've
I
heard a lot of people use that as kind of a benchmark now to say if you're gonna do a fantasy adaptation, you gotta do it like that.
right, yeah, and I could see that, but I think Dresden would be better served as a castle in the style of Castlevania.
Mhm.
I
That
think
would
that would be much
Yeah,
better.
that'd be really cool, and especially with animation, like, you can get away with the, tonal shifts, and, like, I've never seen the, limited Dresden adaptation that's out
I
there.
haven't either.
Like, I don't want to
Yeah, I don't want
ever
to.
watch that, but yeah, if they're gonna adapt it, animation would be probably the best way, and then you could even, I guess condensing the stories would be a bit more forgivable in a different medium, so people
Sure,
wouldn't be so caught up in the changes from the source material, right?
exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, Castlevania show absolutely slaps. Yep, it
Yep.
sure does. Animation
Arcane.
lends itself to fantasy really well. Yeah, yeah, that was a brilliant show.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. I haven't heard much about it. I haven't read up on it or anything, but I saw Daniel Green's video on. I think he said how not to do an adaptation or
Right, yeah.
something like that, and he talked about some of the flaws, and I'm like, wow, yeah, they really missed the mark on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I've just seen the poster. I haven't even looked at a trailer or anything, but it's just like, what were they thinking?
Yeah,
Like that guy, like just from appearance alone, does not give a Dresden vibe.
no, not at all. Yeah, he does. He definitely does not fill Dresden.
Mhm.
Like, if I was to pick an actor that I think currently fits the vibe of Dresden, at least an older Dresden, it would be what's his name that played Sam in Supernatural.
Oh,
Um,
Jared something.
oh yeah, Jared Padalecki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he kind of has the look for Dresden.
Hmm. Yeah, he's
I
definitely a big guy. So,
Yeah, and I I don't think he would be a good Dresden, but he has that look. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
yeah,
like somebody needs to have really good kind of comedic and smart ass chops
yeah,
to pull off that role,
right.
which would be why you get Marsters in as the voice actor.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, too bad he would be too old to really pull off the live action adaptation.
Yeah.
So
The
that's
aging isn't quite there yet. It still looks kind of weird.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Good casting right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I've only seen bits and pieces of Supernatural. I haven't watched the whole series, but
Mm.
my kids have been watching it with some friends, and I've uh, caught a few glimpses. So
Yeah.
I've
It's
enjoyed
good.
what I watched. Yeah.
I've seen at least I think the first 5 seasons, I want to
Hmm.
say, back when the original creator, the guy who moved on to The Boys, Eric
Hmm.
Kripke, was still doing it. And that was really good. I mean, it got a little too caught up in its lore and stuff a little close to the end there, but I haven't seen anything past that. But the
Okay.
Monster of the Week stuff at the beginning was all, I think you'd like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Again, yeah, so many shows. I still haven't watched the last season of The Expanse yet.
Hmm.
I really have you read the Expanse series?
No, that's one on my audiobook TBR that I
Hmm.
really want to check out because they're I think the library has all of them
Yeah.
or the ones that are out. But I've heard nothing but good things about that series.
Yeah, so far I've only read book one, and I watched the series before I read the book, which
Hmm.
I think I would actually recommend
Okay.
if you watch at least the first couple seasons before you start the books, because it helped me get a grasp on the characters more when I read the book. And I'll tell you what, the adaptation is almost beat for beat from the book. It's
Oh, okay.
it's an almost flawless adaptation.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was in terms of adaptations, it's the one that I would say has stayed the closest of anything, except maybe Good Omens. Good Omens was another one that stayed really close to the source material. But
Hmm. That's another
um,
one. And like another author I need to get into. Terry Pratchett is like, I know
yeah,
once I get into it, I'm not going to stop. I know
yeah.
you're a big Pratchett fan, though.
Oh
You've
yeah,
posted
I'm
it.
a huge
Yeah.
Pratchett fan. I wasn't at first, so after I read Good Omens, I'm like, oh, this is great. I need to read more Pratchett.
Mhm.
And then I started with his first Discworld book, which was The Color of Magic, and I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't think I'm feeling this, but somebody told me I shouldn't have done that. And
Yep.
so then I started it again, and I started with Guards, and that was perfect.
Mhm.
Guards was flawless.
Yeah, that's I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna go about that too. Do like that series, like that mini series within Discworld, because
Hmm.
everyone talks about that one. But they're so hard to find used. I think I've only
They
found
are.
maybe like 5 books out of the whole thing. Fortunately, the library does have them on ebook and audiobook, but people online have said to go for the ebook or like the to read it because the wit and the dry
Hmm.
humor. Um, but yeah, like what is it, 41 books or something in that
Something
series?
like that. Yeah, it's a huge series,
Yeah.
and I'm doing that. I'm doing it all on ebook,
Mhm.
just because. Um, yeah, it's easier to collect. It doesn't clutter up my bookshelf, and
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm running out of space. Like I decluttered when I moved and I still have no space on my bookshelves.
hmm,
It's ridiculous. But,
yeah,
that's what I started BookTube doing book hauls and stuff. It's kind of my own fault.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, for me, I usually only keep books on my bookshelf that I know I definitely like want to keep and want to
Mm,
reread and stuff like that. I have made a few exceptions, like like the Elric collections and stuff like
right.
that. But and I thought at one point about getting Elric that the ebook versions that
Mhm.
were released of those same special editions, but then I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. I want the pictures.
Yeah, if you're gonna go for the illustrated edition, you gotta get it
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Another series that is like goes on and off my TBR once in a while. I don't know if you've read any of them because there's a million books, but it's the Dragonlance books.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't read any of Dragonlance yet.
Mhm.
I just finished reading the Deathgate cycle though. It's a 7-book series by Weiss and Hickman,
Okay,
and it's
cool.
fantastic.
All right, good to know. Because
So
yeah,
if
I did look it
Dragonlance
up.
is anything near as good as that, I'm excited. So
Okay, cool. Because yeah, there's a million books in that, but people online say, "Oh yeah, just go for the Weiss and Hickman ones."
mhm.
So I think I might do that, although there still is like 20 of them or something. But they take place in the D&D kind of universe, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They were written to be companions to D&D essentially.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those ones are easy to find at used
Mhm.
bookstores. I feel like I always see them there.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
see them a lot too, for
Mhm.
sure. And I have heard that it's best to just read the Weiss and Hickman ones and kind of leave it at that. I've heard the
Mhm.
same for Forgotten Realms. Just read Salvatore and you're probably good.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
another one too that I want to read. The Drist books.
yeah, the
Yeah.
Driss books exactly.
Yeah. I was
Although,
going through Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, go ahead. You're good.
Yeah, I was going through kind of a lull phase of fantasy a few months ago. Like I just finished The Fires of Heaven, like book
Mhm.
5 of the Wheel of Time, which I loved. I think it was like up there with the best of the series. So good. But I was like, you know what? I'm in the mood for high fantasy because Wheel of Time is so focused on the people, and especially in that book, like the political maneuverings and the factions and stuff. I wanted to get back to like that childhood feeling of, D&D esque adventure fantasy,
Right.
which in a way the first book of Wheel of Time did for me. Like, because the Eye of the World is about this grand journey sort of thing and leaving your hometown. And I don't know if you've ever heard of these books. They were big here when I was growing up, called Deltora Quest.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
Okay. So at those book fairs at school, like they were
Mhm.
there all the time and I devoured those. Like there was 16 of them. And they just had that, monsters, adventure, high fantasy sort of vibe. So I've been looking for a series that kind of captures that, but I haven't quite found it yet.
Nice.
Yeah. So I don't
Okay.
know if like Dragonlance or, Drist kind of are going to suit those. Oh, here's my cat.
Oh, I'm expecting mine to probably make an appearance at some point
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, cats like to be all up in your business.
Hmm. Oh, now
Yeah.
she's attacking the light. We'll
Oh
see what
yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Well, if you go a little dim, we'll know what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pumpkin cameo. Oh, is
Yeah.
Pumpkin your cat's
Pumpkin's
name?
the cat. Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
That's cool. Yeah, I need to get to that the Forgotten Realms and Dragonlance. It's so daunting because there are so many books, but
Mhm.
I think if I'm not mistaken, did Alan Lee write some or not Alan Lee?
He's the illustrator, right?
Yeah, he's the illustrator, but I'm trying to think. It's not Alan Lee. I'm thinking of who's the guy that wrote oh that DC comic uh with
Alan
Roy.
Moore?
Oh, Alan Moore. That's what I'm
Yeah, okay.
thinking of. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think didn't Alan Moore write some Forgotten Realms, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure. That sounds really interesting though, and I'd like to
Yeah,
look into that
I
because I've
could
read
be
the
wrong.
comics. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he's big in comics, but for some reason I have him stuck in my brain as doing some Forgotten Realms
Hmm.
too. But
Okay. Yeah. That sounds cool. I'll have to look into that. That'd be a
yeah,
weird choice. I wouldn't put the 2 together, so
right.
yeah.
Yeah, Alan Moore. I don't know if you read Kings of the Wild. I haven't read it yet,
Yeah, I've read it.
but looking at the cover, that old guy
Mhm.
in the back, like uh, just mm, just speaks so highly to me of that. That's Alan Moore right there. I'm like,
Yeah, I agree with you.
yeah,
That's funny that you point that out. I'm gonna have to go look at it.
yeah. Kings of the Wild is on my list to read, and
Mhm,
every
that's a
time I
good one.
look at it, I'm thinking, yeah, that guy looks exactly like Alan Moore.
Which is funny because that cover is notoriously, like, pretty inaccurate,
Yeah.
to the characters in the book. I think book 2 did it a little better
Okay.
with being accurate to the characters. I think you would enjoy those. They capture some of that high fantasy adventure monsters aspect.
Nice.
that I was looking for with the rock and roll stuff
Of
too.
course.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I'm totally down for that. I'm
Mhm.
excited. I'm not really up on my rock and roll like I used to be, but I'm down. I
Yeah.
think I'll get a lot of the references, and
Mhm.
I mean I was sold and sorry for anyone who's watching, we do spoilers on these chats, but at the that final episode of Stranger Things,
Oh yeah.
the Metallica riff, I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I am totally down for this."
That was a cool scene
I love
for
me
sure.
some classic Metallica,
Yeah.
so
And now apparently a lot of metalheads are upset that it
really?
made because I think, Master of Puppets went on, like, the charts again or something, or
Yeah.
went super popular on Spotify. Yeah, Stranger Things did that with, Kate Bush too.
Yeah.
Like, I know my
Mhm.
sister is a huge fan of Kate Bush, and, like, all of a sudden, her song was, like, everywhere. She's like, "What the hell is going on?" And then, yeah, Stranger Things did this, like, crazy thing with it, and it was throughout that whole season, but
Yeah.
yeah, that Metallica scene was pretty cool.
Yeah, it
Mhm,
definitely was. I'm a huge Metallica fan in general. Even their newer stuff I like, maybe not
mhm,
as well as the older stuff, but I'm still a fan.
mhm.
And yeah, so yeah, love me some
Mhm.
Metallica. Do you
Yeah,
have it? Oh,
I listened to them a lot in high school,
yeah.
weirdly enough, which was, like, a weird time. Like, I wasn't listening to any of their contemporary stuff either. It was all, like, the Black Album and,
Mhm.
like, their more thrash stuff from before that. But
Mhm.
I kinda dropped off when I got a bit older. But I think, "Fade to Black" is still probably one of my favorite songs.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Nothing Else Matters is another one of my
Mhm,
favorites. And
mhm.
of course, One.
Yep,
Uh,
One is great.
Yeah, Enter Sandman is still my favorite song of all time of Metallica's,
Mhm,
and the Black Album is still, in my opinion, their best album.
mhm,
Um, even though I love their older stuff, I
mhm.
think Black is still one of the best albums ever made.
Yeah,
So,
it was a departure, but I mean, like, it's really
mhm,
good. Like, you can't deny
yeah,
why all those songs are so popular.
yeah.
Like, The Unforgiven, that's another one too.
Oh, yeah, The
I
Unforgiven
really
is
like, yeah.
great. Yeah,
Mhm,
absolutely. Yeah, I don't have very many favorite bands, but Metallica is definitely one of them, and also, Flogging Molly. I'm a huge fan of Flogging Molly.
mhm.
I love me some Irish punk. Yeah,
Yeah. For,
yeah.
me and my whole family, it's Led Zeppelin. Like, that was
Oh,
our
yeah.
music growing up was all Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, Zeppelin's great, especially Jimmy Page. Jimmy Page is
Yeah,
yeah,
something else.
he's a fantastic musician.
Yeah.
One is probably my favorite song of theirs. Yeah, it's a great song. Morbid. It's a very morbid song, but it's a
Yeah.
great song. Yeah.
In, high school, I was in the guitar ensemble because I
Mhm.
went to an arts high school, and so I was in the music program, and we played an acoustic version of One,
Oh, wow.
and it was really good. We had to cut out the solos and stuff, right? Or at least, like, the really intense stuff later on, but it
Yeah.
was a cool version. I wish I had a recording of that, but yeah. Yeah, One is a really epic song.
I'm trying to remember because the unplugged sessions used to be pretty popular on like MTV and stuff
Mm,
like that. I'm trying to
right.
remember. I think Metallica may have actually done an unplugged session with that song.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. I don't remember for sure, but they might have done.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Which probably sounds better because they have no drumming in it.
right. Not a fan of the drums, or maybe just not a fan of Lars Ulrich.
He has his moments, but I'm just going off that one clip from that documentary, eh, that notorious clip where he's just screwing up over and over again.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I still like all of them, but yeah, but Lars had his moments.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
they've gone through how many bassists since their,
Yeah.
conception? A
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, quite a few. Yeah.
And, who else was oh, Dave Mustaine, he was in the band too, wasn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Yep, Dave
Mhm,
Mustaine was, yeah.
mhm.
Lars is in yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Well, it's 'cause he plays drums, so he knows.
You're right. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, got it. Very cool. I'd be curious to get Jake from the Bookish Drummer. I'd be curious to get his opinion on some of this.
Yeah.
He yeah. I don't know if you watch his channel, but
Yeah.
it's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah. So he does this thing on his Discord where he does like the beat of the week or something like that, and people have to guess what the beat is.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
yeah. He's got some interesting stuff on his Discord and on his channel too.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I remember his tag from a few months back. Like I think
Hmm.
more than a few months now, but he did a pretty cool tag that I was watching.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people did, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And he's a huge Stephen King stan too. So
Mhm.
yeah. I still have only read the Dark Tower, of course, and It and
Mhm.
Salem's Lot. That's all I've read so far. But
Mhm.
eventually, I'll read The Stand, and I definitely want to check out Fairy Tale when it comes out in
Oh yeah.
September.
Same here. I really want to read that.
I still don't really know a whole lot about it,
Mhm.
except the little blurb that they've given it. But I'm curious to see what it's like.
Mhm. It's like, and I'm excited for it because like he's still putting out good stuff. Like everyone loved his book
Mhm.
from last year. I haven't read it yet,
Oh, is it
but
Billy Summers? Is it
yeah,
that one? Yeah.
I heard that one got really good reviews. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, the guy's been like, he had some inconsistent books, but it's nice to see his
Right.
career is still the way it is. But those are some interesting reads for like all you've read of Stephen King. Those are some really bold choices. All the Dark Tower, It, Salem's Lot.
Hmm.
Like usually people start with like Carrie or The Shining or something or like Cujo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, initially, the only reason I read Salem's Lot was because of where it landed on the beam. So
Mm,
it's that people recommend that you read Salem's Lot
yeah.
before reading book 5 of the Dark Tower, which is a very good suggestion because you'll get Salem's Lot completely spoiled for you if you read book 5
Yeah.
first. So
Mhm.
but it's actually my favorite Stephen King book that I read so far, even more than The Dark Tower.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Salem's Lot is for me, and yeah, it was a tough book for me.
Mhm. Same here.
I almost DNF'd it, but somebody suggested that I do the audiobook, and the audiobook saved me.
Okay.
Um, and with the exception of that one scene that just didn't
Yeah.
need to be in there,
Yeah.
but it's a good book, and I thought I enjoyed the new movie as well. I thought the new movie did quite a good job
Mhm.
adapting it. So um,
Yeah. I've yet to see part two of that.
okay, yeah, they're both really good. I think I like part one better, but they were both good.
Mm.
Revival by
Revival's on the
Stephen
list.
King. Yeah, I've heard that's a good one. The new one
Mhm.
sounds promising. Yes, it does.
Yeah. I initially wasn't gonna read Revival, but then there's a podcast called the King Cast.
Yeah,
And they bring on really good guests to talk about stuff. And they got David Lowery, who is the director of The Green Knight, to talk about Revival. And I'm like, oh, if he likes Revival, I guess I got to put it on my list because that guy makes some cool stuff too.
right.
So yeah, Revival's on there. Um, it for me, I feel pretty much the same as you. Like very took a while for me to get through. I think it took me like a month to read. It was a few years ago now, and like such great sequences and then such bad ones at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it was so hit or miss. And I think at that point I'd only read The Gunslinger out of the Dark Tower, so I wasn't used to the super weird Stephen King stuff yet, like the out there stuff. Salem's
Yeah.
Lot though was my first King book.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that was a cool one to start with. I really like seeing the perspective of the town, like in jumping the different characters' heads and stuff like that, and then seeing it
Sure.
slowly kind of go wrong. I thought it was a much more interesting way of doing it, especially having read Dracula in the past from
Hmm.
like a more narrow perspective. But yeah, like I haven't seen the adaptation, like the TV movie from the 70s, but a lot of people cite that as like their favorite King adaptation or like a good
Okay.
nostalgic one.
I saw a miniseries in the '90s, and of course I've never read. Oh, never mind. We're talking about Salem's Lot. There I
Mhm.
go again. I've got The Stand on the brain.
Yeah.
but yeah, I haven't seen the movie of Salem's Lot, but I might at some point, but I definitely want to see the new adaptation that they're making.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, for sure.
um, yeah, that should be very interesting.
Mhm.
King seems to have a lot of that one scene that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, I mean, like even in the Dark Tower, um, DNF'd. Yeah,
Yeah,
can't blame you.
understandable.
Yeah, so many tangents in that book too. Like so many just asides about random stuff that
Hmm.
has barely anything to do with it. I mean, I still did like the characters, like the kids
Hmm.
and stuff and all that. The stuff when they're grown up is a little, not as good. But no, I lost my train
Yeah.
of thought. I don't know what I was talking about.
Yeah, we were talking about something there, and I kind of lost my train of thought too.
Oh yeah,
Oh
I've heard
yeah,
the same
I've
thing.
yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah,
And in the last episode, one of the characters was reading the talisman.
I noticed that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that was awesome.
Mhm.
One thing I did want to ask you about, you brought up the Green Knight or the director of the Green Knight.
Mhm.
So, um, I'm curious, are you a fan of A24 in general?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the
cool.
most part, yeah.
Um, I think I think the Green Knight is the only A24 that I've seen so far.
Mhm.
But I do want to see some of their others. Like I want to see Macbeth, the new one with
Oh yeah, the Cohen
um
brothers one with
yeah,
Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington. Thank you. Yeah, because that was put out by A24, I think, too, right? Or was it
Um,
not? I thought
I
it was
know
an
it
A.
went on Apple TV. I don't know if
Yeah.
they produced it as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's in
Yeah.
that vein.
So
It's like in that modern art film sort of vein.
right. Yeah. I really enjoyed the Green Knight. And when I first saw the ending, I was like, wait, what? But
Mhm.
then the more I thought about it, it grew on me.
Yeah.
But it was just, I think it initially jarred me because it was so open ended.
Yeah.
Like 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 it just ends and you're like you could see it ending two different ways. You kind of make up your own ending almost.
Mhm.
And that was an interesting choice.
Mhm.
So but
Yeah.
I thought it was a striking and beautiful movie,
Yeah, for
uh,
sure.
and yeah, pretty interesting.
Mhm. For me, I had known the story of the Green Knight, like the original legend going into it, so I kinda knew
Yeah,
what the ending was all about.
yeah,
But I went with my brother and my cousin, and I was interested to hear their thoughts, and they're like, "Ooh, wow, that was, something else at the end there." And I thought it was a really bold choice to do it kinda like the way it was, like, just end it so abruptly
yeah.
like that. But I'm happy, we need movies like that that take risks, right? So,
That's
I
true.
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's definitely a bold move. So
Mhm.
I definitely want to see more from A24. Uh, I like artistic, um, very heavily artistic movies. So
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it for the most part. So your brother's asking me what my design is. Yeah.
Well,
So
maybe if he read The Dark Tower, he would understand because 'cause I've told him a million times to read those books.
right? Yeah. So this is a silhouette of the gunslinger in front of the dark tower inside a keyhole, and the CHAS symbol on the front, of course, as well. So, but yeah. So
That
I
is a
got this
really
off
cool
of yeah, I got it off of Redbubble. I was looking up because I wanted to have some more nerdy shirts,
Mhm.
and you can't really buy stuff like this mainstream. So I went on Redbubble, and there's a bunch of artists that had designs for the Dark Tower on there and stuff. So
Mhm.
like I'm grabbing it because it
Yeah.
really caught my eye.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then if you love Lovecraftian works, watch The
Yeah.
Lighthouse. So that's the one that's in black and white with Robert Pattinson, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it, but I wasn't sure. And I like black and white.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
if you I know you love Lovecraft stuff.
Oh,
You
I
want
do,
to get more
yeah.
into A24.
Hmm.
It's perfect. It's the best blend of that stuff, right? It's
Cool.
so it's the guy who directed The Witch. I don't know if you watched that
I
one.
haven't seen that one, no.
Okay. So yeah, that one is good. This one is yeah, it leans more into the weird fiction aspect, a little
Oh,
more strange, a little
I'm all there.
quirky, weirdly funny, like darkly funny in some parts, and like two killer performances throughout the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to get into A24 kind of stuff, then that's got to be one of the first ones you watch.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
I will definitely put it on my list to watch because it looked interesting.
Mhm.
And um, I think I think Robert Pattinson has a lot of potential to be an A-list actor.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know if you enjoyed the Batman, but I thought the Batman was quite a brilliant film.
Yeah, I really like that one. I was very surprised how much I like that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same here, and I'm anxious to see more. I I I, I seem to be really enjoying when DC takes the solo movie route.
Mhm.
Their
Yeah.
their their combined universe just really is not working at all.
No, it fell
But
apart really hard.
the standalone films like the Joker, I thought was brilliant. Um, I think it. Well, I think it did win some Academy Awards, but not Best Picture.
No, I think he was
Um,
nominated for a bunch of stuff. I don't know if
yeah,
Joaquin Phoenix won for that. I
yeah,
don't remember the Oscars.
yeah. I don't keep up with it a whole lot, but I seem to remember it. It definitely didn't get Best Actor or anything like that. But that was a they just seem to do really well with standalone movies. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah, what a weird kind of creative path they're going down. Like they either just trying to copy Marvel and do the huge blockbuster team up movies or going these like really interesting, artistically driven solo films, which is just like
right,
I appreciate those ones are coming out, but why are you still doing this other stuff when they're for the most part doing pretty poorly?
exactly.
Like it
Yeah.
was one of those movies that killed my entire interest for comic books for like 5 years. I
Hmm.
was like a diehard Superman fan my whole life growing up.
Oh
And then when
yeah,
I watched Batman vs Superman, I was like, I really didn't like that movie. It fell apart so hard for me. And I was like,
yeah,
okay, I think I'm out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of Batman versus Superman. I loved Man of Steel. I thought it was an actually really good movie.
Yeah, same here. When it came out, I have it on Blu-ray and stuff.
Hmm.
I enjoyed that a lot. But I think it's been soured a bit by the story going forward.
Yeah, it definitely has been. It took a direction that it just didn't need to go, and yeah, I'm not a fan. A24 did that with First Reformed. Okay, I have not seen First Reformed
Mm.
either.
That's the Ethan Hawke one.
Okay,
I think who did it? Paul Schrader, I think, did that one. I haven't seen it, but I've heard great stuff.
okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Joaquin did one. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe I'm
Mhm.
wrong. I haven't kept up with it really, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think I think DC and I think they may be trying to do kind of like a soft reboot thing with the Flash, but then now
Oh, oh
I
boy.
I don't know if the Flash is even going to get made now with
Yeah.
what's his name making all
Yeah.
these really poor choices.
Yeah, that would be a
That's
hard one because as soon as you start watching the movie, you see the actor, and that's all you're going to be able to think about
yeah,
the entire
yeah,
time.
exactly. They
But
should
I
have just
heard,
gone with Grant Gustin.
yeah, I like that show. I think
Yeah,
I
I
watched
did
the
too.
first season of it when it was on. I haven't kept up with it, but
I
wasn't
watched the
Michael
first four
Keaton
seasons.
supposed to be in the Flash movie or
He's
something?
supposed to
Yeah.
be an alternate Batman in the Flash movie. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see what happens.
I
It's not
guess we'll
our call to
see.
make, so we'll
Yeah,
leave that to the people at Warner Brothers to figure that mess out.
yeah, yeah. That's for sure, and it's quite a mess.
Mhm.
But yeah, they've been saying that they really need a Kevin Feige type person to
Mm,
get
yeah.
hired on for the DCU, and I think that's a pretty accurate statement because there've been a few slight misses with Marvel. I
Mhm.
mean, all of the movies are excellent, but some of them are more excellent than others. But on the whole, they've just really pulled off a fantastic multiverse,
Mhm.
uh, and DC is just kind of grasping any straw they can, trying to ride the coattails of Marvel, and it's just
Yeah.
not working.
No, it's really not. I
Yeah,
think they did try to do that with Jeff Johns, like the comic book writer and producer,
yeah,
a number of
right.
years ago, but then, it still fell apart in the
Yeah,
end. I just remember seeing like their slate of movies that came out in like 2013. Oh, Pumpkin's
yeah.
back. And just looking at that list now and seeing how many never came to fruition, like another Green Lantern movie they're going to do, a Cyborg movie that never
Yeah.
happened, right?
Hmm.
So it's almost as bad as the Dark Universe. They got one movie in and pieced out,
Hmm.
and that was it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Like, I'm one of those. I I get a lot of flack for the unpopular opinion that um, Suicide Squad, that the first movie was not worth watching.
Mhm.
In fact, I DNF'd it 30 minutes in. I just like Harley Quinn was spot on, but I
Mhm.
could not do Jared Leto's Joker. I'm sorry, I could not do the Joker. And then I unfortunately watched uh, watched the new Suicide Squad movie all the way through,
Mhm.
only because everybody wanted to finish the movie and talk trash about it the whole time,
Mhm.
and that's about all it was. It was trash.
Mhm.
But that's my opinion, and I get a lot of flack for it.
Mhm.
But I did not. I could do without any of the Suicide Squad stuff. It's just Margot Robbie is about the only saving grace for that series. And
Yeah, I haven't seen the first one just because I heard how terrible it was from
oh yeah,
everybody,
it was
and
awful.
could not care for Jared Leto as the Joker with his, I don't know what they were trying to do there. Second one was okay.
Hmm.
It was hyped up a lot because it was James Gunn.
Hmm.
Um, I do enjoy the Guardians of the Galaxy movies a
Oh
lot,
yeah, me
but
too,
yeah,
totally.
Suicide Squad, the new one was okay. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
It
Yeah.
didn't really, do anything new or, that exciting, but it was like a serviceable movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I did watch the Snyder Cut. I don't know if
Mm,
you watched that one.
no.
It was good for the most part. It had its flaws, but I think it was a decent movie, and Jared Leto was in that movie as the Joker in in an alternate scene, like a what if the world did really come to an end, and what if Superman turned evil, and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
And so it was kind of like a dream sequence, and Jared Leto was in that as the Joker, and he looked more like the Joker, and it was kind of okay, but it was still like, yeah, no, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had the patience or the urge to really check that one out. Like I watched the theatrical version. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, I don't need to watch the rest. I don't need to see a 4-hour version of this. Like I've heard from everybody, like it's better
Hmm.
than the theatrical, but it's not a great movie.
Yeah.
But they poured
Yeah.
how many millions into that just to put it out there like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They did. They put a lot of money into that for sure.
Mm.
I just have no idea what to do with the movie because yeah, he's a bad egg for sure.
Mhm.
With he's causing a lot of problems. James Gunn. Okay, yeah, well that's okay. It's just my humble and accurate opinion. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, you're entitled to enjoy the movie, and I don't, but that's okay. I totally appreciate that perspective. Makes a lot. Otherwise, I'm watching. Okay, interesting. I haven't really seen any of her other stuff, so that's good to know.
Mhm. Yeah,
But,
I haven't seen much with her outside of like the DC stuff and Wolf of Wall Street, I
okay,
guess. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't see her in that one. Uh, I haven't seen the Little Things.
Neither.
He was in that new Sony
Morbius.
Morbius. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it was horrible.
Yeah, I heard terrible things about it. I kind of want to watch it out of like just a sense of curiosity
Yeah.
because it's so bad and because people memed it so much that they put it back in theaters and then nobody watched it.
Right? Nobody watched it. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That was I still have not watched the um oh Spider-Man's Nemesis. Come on, Charles.
Venom.
Yeah, Venom. I
Mm,
still have not watched the Venom movies.
same
I have
here.
no desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard they're fine. Like they're okay.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. We're fans of most things.
Yeah. Yeah. And for the same reason I have not watched Aquaman either. I refuse to spend my money or time to watch the Aquaman movies. For one thing, Jason Momoa does not feel Aquamanish to me.
Mm,
I don't know why. He's a great actor. I just don't see him as Aquaman. But
mm,
that's my opinion, and it's not for everybody.
mm.
I liked the first Wonder Woman movie. I
Same
thought that
here.
was really great. And the second movie was not as great, but it was okay.
I
So
haven't seen that one, but yeah, the first one was really good. I like the World War One setting.
I did too.
Yeah,
I,
movies
I
always go for World War Two, but World War One
yeah,
is right there.
yeah, I
There's
know that
so
is kind
many
of odd.
huge events that happen in that one. Especially
Yeah.
being from Canada, we learn a lot about World War One as well in school growing up because so involved in it, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Venom 1 is laughably bad. Nice.
At least laughably bad is entertaining still,
Yeah, I guess
Mhm.
that's true. Yeah,
better than boring.
yeah, that's for
Mhm.
sure. Cool. Well,
Mhm.
I know we've been going for a couple of hours here, and I don't know how you're feeling with everything, but I think this is probably a good spot to wrap it up if that's cool with you.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
this has been awesome, Julian, and we should definitely do it again.
Mhm.
In fact, I've talked about sometime in the future maybe doing Chaz and Friends remix and having a couple people on to from previous episodes to just
Yeah,
hang out and chat and stuff. So
yeah,
more
that'd
the
be really
merrier,
cool.
right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I'd love to have you on again. This has been really awesome, and
Mhm.
hope you enjoy your vacation. That sounds really exciting.
Thank you. I am really excited. I have to go to work tomorrow still before I go, but I just need to get
Oh,
through that one more day, and then
one
on
more
Tuesday,
day.
I'm gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, it'll be worth it just to get to the vacation, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks, Scott. You too.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
everybody, for watching. Really appreciate your time. Make sure to like and subscribe to Julian and like and subscribe here as well if you're enjoying my content. Make sure you read more books. Talk to you soon.